This is New Hampshire Cross Country, sponsored by Runner's Alley, and this live stream is brought to you by Demerit Hill Farm. It's been a very exciting weekend with a lot of fast times and a lot of changes. I'm Rory Kern from Nashua North.
Pepin from Manchester Central. So far, the season has only been 2 to 3 weeks, so it's still pretty early to tell what the set rankings are. Manchester Invitation this weekend, so we should be able to see who's in the top 10.
And I'm Ed Stoll. I missed last rankings, but I'm from Kearsarge and I'm a senior.
I'm Luke Kasich. I'm from Co-Brown. I'm a junior.
I'm Addison Cox, also from Co-Brown, and I am also a junior. So starting with the girls' rankings, in 10th we have Salem, who was 10th last week. They came in 5th at Nashua North, and they're led by Natalie Correa and Sylvia Cadell. And you can definitely look for them to improve as the season progresses because they were a really strong team last year. So, yeah.
Number 9 is Hopkinton, who was number 9 last week. They got 3rd place at Bobcat with an impressive packing for 2/3 of the race. Lee Stockwell, Sydney Stockwell, and Anna O'Reilly.
In 8th, we have Londonderry, who was also 8th last week. They were 4th at Nashua North, only beating Salem by 6 points, and they're led by Grace McDonough and Katie Buford.
Is Nashua South, who wasn't on the top 10 last week, but they made their way up to 7th right now and are definitely a top 10 team. Right behind Bedford at the Nashua North Invitational, Allie Coffin had a huge race, getting 1st place coming off of injury, so that was amazing.
6th, we have Keene, who was 4th last week. They were really strong last year, one of the better teams in the state. So they don't come to Manchester, so it'll be really interesting to see how they perform later on in the season.
Number 5 was Souhegan, who was number 7 last week. Public school at Bobcat, which was pretty impressive. These were Chloe Trudell and Mackenzie Hayden. Chloe Trudell ended up winning the race 19th, which was extremely impressive, and a new course record farm race.
4th, we have Bedford, who was 3rd last week. They came in 2nd at Nashua North, led by Carly Rinko, who came in 2nd overall in the race, only 12 seconds behind Callie Coffin, so she's really looking strong, and is probably pulling all of her other teammates with her. So look for them to be a contender for the rest of the season.
Number 3 is Concord, who was 5th last week. Nashua North Invitational with such a young team. It's full of freshmen, but they are led by Morgan Orcutt, who I believe got 3rd place at Nashua North.
And 2nd is Co-Brown, who was 2nd last week. Just because I'm with them at practice every day, I know they're working really hard and doing really good workouts. And this weekend at our homecoming meet, we had 2 other teams with us, and we took the top eight places. So we're definitely looking really strong and excited to see what happens.
Ranking this week is Exeter. They were number 1 last week as well. They're just a very strong team overall, a very young team as well, so they have a lot of potential. They are led by Grace Mercier.
I think deserve a top there. I think they're going to put on a great showing against Hopkinton, led by Maya Doobie, obviously, and I think they're a solid team.
I'm also pretty biased by saying my own team, but I do think that Manchester Central could make it into the top 10 after we at Nashua North, we didn't have runners, which put a pretty big dent on our score. We have a couple coming back for the invite, so get back up there.
I think we need more teams in the girls' top 10, so I'm going to say Pinkerton, because they always seem to pull something together, and I think they're going to get a lot better as the season goes on.
My sleeper team is Merrimack Valley with the 1-2 punch of the Sophias, and then they also have Emma York, who's right there, like pretty close behind them, and she has like great senior leadership. So I definitely think that we'll see them in the next coming week.
I'm going to agree with Addison because everyone on that team from Merrimack Valley is pretty young, so they can only get better from where they are now.
Okay, so on the boys' side, at number 10, we have Hanover, which we haven't seen much of, but Nashua North and Keene did see them at Great Glen. They almost beat us, Nashua North. The scoring might have been wrong, but I'll take it. And, I think they'll have a good rest of the season.
So at number 9 is Conval, moving up from 10th position last ranking. They were 4th at Bobcat, and I do know that they won their first 2 meets, so they're looking pretty good this year.
And coming in at number 8, we have Nashua North, who actually placed 4th at Nashua this weekend. He's on that team, so they got a lot of experience and are looking to climb up the rankings.
At number 7, we have Pinkerton. They are very good. They came at 3rd at Nashua. They have a really strong 1-2, and then the rest of their team follows. But once they get that 4 and 5 to close the gap, I think they'll be really good.
So at number 6 is Winnicott. They moved down in the rankings from 4th. They were 3rd at Bobcat, racing with Oyster River. Colin Donnelly ran very well. He just needs his teammates to move their way up to him, and they have a pretty good team.
Coming in at number 5, we have Keene, who actually didn't race at all this weekend or won't be at Manchester next weekend. On that team with Jake Velasquez and Torin Kidnap up front, so number 5.
At number 4, we have Concord. They have a very experienced team. They only lost Nashua North by 1 point. It's pretty sad, but I think they'll get it together and with a lot of good lead runners. So
number 3 is Londonderry, moving up from 7th. They won Nashua by 1 point over Concord. They have Will Heenan, who is getting a lot better, and Ryan Young, who is back and healthy. And so I like to see what he can do because I've been running with him since I was young. So see what he can do.
And coming in at number 2, we have Oyster River, who is actually the top public school Bobcat this weekend, losing to only Phillips Exeter. Talent up there, especially Andy O'Brien leading the way as a junior.
So at number 1 again this week, we have Co-Brown, who didn't race either of the invitationals, but they did run their own tri-meet. And they supposedly took the 2 miles out pretty hard, but just coasted in the last mile. And with that, their average time was 16:51. And Concord's team racing last year average was 16:49. So pretty close.
Okay, so for boys sleeper teams, mine is going to be Messinic, led by Landon Valancourt. He's pretty fast, and I think if they can just kind of get as many runners as close to him as possible, they could be pretty strong and show up in the rankings in the next few weeks.
My sleeper team, I'm going to say Merrimack. It's 5th at the Nashua North Invitational, right behind Nashua North. A couple solid guys up front. They definitely looked to have a pack at the race, and they believe they were led by Ryan Fisher.
I was also going to say Merrimack. I see them a lot, and they have really good runners like Andrew Payton and Ryan Fisher are always up there, and I think if they get the rest of their team going, I think they could be pretty good.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Messinic boys as well as Addison because Landon Valancourt ran very well at the North Invitation, and I think that he has a lot of teammates behind him that if they can move up, they can end up on that top list, and they also want to defend that one of the top positions for the Division III title this year.
I'm gonna go with Conant, who's looking actually like the top D3 school right now. Not a lot of people are talking about him. Sanborn earlier in the season, they came in first for Division 3. Bernier, and they got guys like Jack Taylor right behind him, and they're a young team, and I think they got a lot of potential.
Okay, so with Manchester Invite coming up, we're gonna list up some matchups that we're excited to see. For me personally, I'm really excited to see Co Brown run because I haven't seen them all season. And for individual, I'm really excited to race against Colin Donnelly. I think that'll be a fun race.
Personally, I'm looking forward to see my own team, Co Brown, go up against Bishop Henrikin. See if we can kind of make a little bit of a statement.
I'm gonna go with Co Brown versus, and then on the side, I'm gonna say Maya Doobie versus Sophie Reynolds. I think that'll be a good matchup.
For me, for more of girls teams, I'm really excited to see teams like Exeter, Concord, and Bedford go up against each other, just because they all have a really strong top 5. All so close. We'll really have to work to pass other runners to keep their scores close.
Also on the girls' side, I'm looking forward to see because Co Brown's going to be in the large school race, so I'm looking forward to see like all the really like the top like 5 schools kind of going up against each other and to see kind of like how that's going to turn out. So once again, we'd like to thank the Maryhill Farm for supporting us today, and we look forward to seeing what happens at Manch Invite, as neither the boys or the girls have a dominant team as of yet. So, yeah, good luck to everybody this weekend. This is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runners Alley.
Bye.
Bye.